Welcome to Speaking Holistically, the podcast that explores the power of alternative medicine, natural healing, and homeopathic solutions to help you achieve true wellness. Each week, Dr. Jen and Amy G dive into the world of holistic health, discussing researched, time-tested remedies with expert insights from Dr. Jen, as well as real-life stories from patients to empower you to take charge of your health. So if you're ready to embrace a more natural path to wellness, let's start speaking holistically, because true healing begins from within. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Speaking Holistically. I'm your co-host, Amy G. I'm here with my amazing co-host, Dr. Jen, and we're doing a Family Health Hub episode today on food chemical labeling. And I think this is going to be pretty surprising for a lot of people. I think we're going to learn a lot. So I don't even know what we're covering. So I'm just going to throw it to you, Dr. Jen.
I just like to keep it interesting. So we're not going to go super deep into all of the chemicals that are on our labels because we would be here forever. You know, I just got back from Europe and they do not put the same junk in their food that we do here. I mean, I go over there, my stomach issues go away, my brain fog goes away, my energy levels go up, and I eat really, really clean here in the States, and it's still just impossible to stay away from some of these chemicals. These chemicals, though, absolutely don't have a problem staying away from the two that I'm going to discuss today. But so a lot of the food chemicals have various alternative names, and they tend to be changing them up a little bit at a time because they'll get a negative connotation. People don't want to buy it, so they'll change the name on the labels. But it's the same thing. So like, for example, a lot of us are not eating aspartame or ingesting anything with aspartame in it. But they have changed the name to amino sweet. So you can look for amino sweet and it may not show up that way as far as aspartame goes. So it is about 200 times sweeter than sugar. And, you know, we're being told, and we've been told, that aspartame is completely safe. And I don't find that that is exactly the case in my practice, but, you know, we can just go along with it for right now. And then if you don't want to eat aspartame, then don't buy anything that says amino sweet on it. So that is one of the amino acid, aspartic acid and phenylalanine together. And aspartame used to be marketed under various names like NutraSweet and Equal. So it just keeps getting a name change. So I just want you to be aware that if you see something called amino sweet, it is considered a non-nutritive sweetener, because that's another way that they're labeling in such a way, as instead of an artificial sweetener, it's a non-nutritive sweetener now. So we don't want to put the word artificial on there. It might scare people away. They might not eat it. So the other one that I want to go over is the MSG, and they've been doing this for a really, 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 really long time. So monosodium glutamate is a flavor enhancer. And if you ever read the book Excitotoxins That Kill by Dr. Blaylock, one of the best books you'll ever read as far as getting information. But he talks about how these flavor enhancers actually stimulate your brain cells till they die. It's not like, hey, you know, and the way I explained to my kids, I'm like, no, we don't eat that. And they're like, why? And I said, because it's like me putting you on the trampoline, making you jump, not till you get tired, but till you literally die. And they were like, oh my gosh. So they try to stay away from it. Some of them are adults now, so I can't control everything that goes in their mouth, but I did a pretty good job educating them that they tend to stay away from a lot of those flavor enhancers. But, you know, you're giving your little kid 2 years old Doritos with all the stuff in it, and if it leaves something on your fingers and it tastes super good and your brain just craves it, there's flavor enhancers in there. So one of which of those is monosodium glutamate. And what I read years ago was that as long as it's under 97% pure MSG, they don't have to label it MSG.
Whoa.
So they can label it to almost anything. Like if you do a cup of noodles or any kind of thing like that, and you put that powder in there, that is full of MSG. Like I said, anything that enhances the flavor of something, you're going to see that. But autolyzed yeast extract, autolyzed yeast protein, carrageenan even, which is generally we think of as a thickener, hydrolyzed corn, sodium caseinate, soy isolate, textured protein, vegetable extract, yeast extract. These are all basically forms of MSG.
Wow.
So yeah, so if you're trying to stay away from that or you can't figure out why you're getting a headache, that could be it. I get wicked headaches with MSG, so I stay away from most sauces. I stay away from a lot of flavored things, most flavored things, because it's not worth me getting a migraine for. And so people are eating the stuff not realizing that that actually can cause so much inflammation in your brain. So what is really interesting about MSG is it is an obesogen. So it can cause obesity and people don't realize it. So they're like, I'm not eating that much. I'm just eating a little bit of chips and there's only this many calories. And if I've learned anything in practice, it's not caloric intake and caloric output is what keeps your body on the thinner side or the healthier side. It's a lot of the quality of the foods that we're eating. It's stress. There's other things that play into it for sure. But MSG does actually increase obesity. So what it does, it's been shown to make us resistant to leptin, and leptin is a hormone that makes you feel full. Okay, so some people are like, I'm not full yet, and they'll just keep eating, which is why I always encourage people, look, get a serving size, put it in a bowl, put the bag away, whatever, and eat just that. Don't continue to just eat and do something else, especially video games or whatever else.
Yeah, no mindless eating.
No, So part of it is because if you do have a leptin issue already, MSG is going to make that worse, and you're never going to get to the point where you're feeling full. So the other thing that it does is it causes the secretion of insulin, which is your fat storage hormone, which drops your blood sugar and then makes you feel hungrier faster. So you will end up eating more food. So not only is it an excitotoxin, which literally crosses a blood-brain barrier and causes those brain cells to fire until they die, it also can increase weight gain and all the other problems that go along with obesity.
Wow. Oh my God.
Also, magnesium, chromium, and zinc are also really important for the neural cells. So the brain cells are, nerve cells. So the use of those minerals in the body are accelerated by the presence of MSG. So you'll burn through them much, much faster. And as we know, zinc does help the immune system. There's a whole host of other things it does. Chromium helps with blood sugar. Magnesium, my gosh, it does dang near everything, I think, anymore. It helps with serotonin production in the gut. It helps with cramping. It helps with pain. It helps with just a ton of things. So if you're depleting that every single day, that can be a huge issue for people. So just watch these labels, and if you don't know what it is and you can't pronounce it, go look it up and find out a little bit more about it. And I know there's a bunch of apps now that are out that you can click on it and it'll tell you whether you should eat it or not. And generally speaking, if it has more than 5 ingredients and it's in a box, bag, or can, yeah, probably shouldn't eat it. That's our rule of thumb at the house. So if you can't pronounce it and has more than 5 ingredients, put it back. Don't even bother with it.
Yeah, honestly, the stuff you just talked about with MSG, I never would have guessed that. And that it causes obesity or contributes to it. No idea about that. I think our listeners probably don't know that either. And as far as the artificial sweeteners getting renamed, yeah, they're staying away from one, but it is that sweetener just under a different name, and they're buying that product. I love that we're spreading the word on this and just educating people about it, because I'm sure they don't know. They're being hoodwinked or whatever the term is.
Well, I mean, if you keep changing the name because people aren't buying your product, they're not buying your product because they're concerned about their health or their safety potentially. I mean, I knew a guy that worked at Starbucks, and he's had a guy that came through every single day, and he had them put 25 packets of NutraSweet, aspartame, whatever it is, in his drink. 25 packets. And that's 200 times the sweet as sugar. I'm like, I don't even know how he could handle that. And he said one day, he goes, I literally put 23 packets in it just to see if he would even notice. And he did. He came back. I was like, oh my gosh. So I'm not saying mess with your clients at Starbucks, but I'm just saying, like.
But doesn't that fill up a cup? If you have, doesn't it halfway fill it up or a third of the way fill? If you have this many packets.
I didn't even bother asking the volume of what that would be, but so that's what I'm saying. There's a huge difference between doing one every so often. It probably won't do a huge amount to you. But if you're doing this consistently on a daily basis because, there's no calories and, it's so safe and we've been told it's so safe. And after a while, you're having all these health problems. It's still a chemical. I mean, even stevia, everyone raves about stevia and how it's so natural. It comes from a plant. And I'm like, but it's white powder. It's no longer a plant, So it's been super, super, super processed. You could take anything that was natural, process it down. I mean, you take corn and suddenly you have high fructose corn syrup. It's not healthy, you know? So those are the things that I would try to get people to think about is there a safer alternative, and maybe just not doing it. You know, I'd rather have somebody have a pack of sugar potentially than 25 packs of aspartame. So,
exactly.
and then people go, well, I'm diabetic. I'm like, well, why are you diabetic? Like, yes, like it's not always, I'm not saying, oh, it's your fault. I'm just saying, like, what if we stopped all the sugar? What if we got all the sugar out of your house and all the synthetic sugars? Because that those artificial sweeteners are still, your tongue is tasting it and telling your brain sugar is coming. Okay. So it's telling your brain that sugar is coming, and then the sugar never comes. So is insulin being dumped by the beta cells? Like, what's happening there? I don't know. I'm not in the lab watching the stuff, and I don't think we can answer that for every single person out there.
Yeah.
But after a while, it has to have some impact on your body. When you've got the boy who cries the wolf all the time, something's got to be happening. And long term, like, what's that going to look like? And is there enough research? And have we done any research? And who's going to do the research on that? I mean, the only company that's going to do the research on that is the company selling it, right? Because otherwise you're going to spend millions on something you're not benefiting from. Like, that's the other option, is looking at that, like, who's done the research. So when they say it's perfectly safe, go down the rabbit hole and find out who did the research and who were they paid by.
Yeah. That is key. Doing your homework and drilling down on that is so critical. Yeah.
Yep. Well, and I had a great public health professor, and everyone knows I'm a chiropractor, and he came and he was teaching us, and somebody asked him in class one time, they're like, if you hate chiropractors so much, why are you here? And he said, because I think you people of all people need me the most. He was a very egotistical public health, had his doctorate and everything. And you know what? I'll tell you what else. I learned so much from him. It was amazing. And yeah, he was actually one of my most favorite professors. And he always said, follow the money, follow the money. He goes, and if it smells like poop, it looks like poop, it's probably poop. You know what I mean? Like that sort of a thing. So there was a lot of stuff that he told us, and it was really beneficial in me being able to educate myself further, especially as I got out of school and start looking at some of this stuff. So.
Wow. Read your labels, folks, and look them up. Like you said, amino sweet is the new aspartame. It's the same thing. So that fact alone, I think, is pretty eye-opening. I didn't know that. I didn't, but then again, I don't eat a bunch of crap.
No, yeah, no, you don't. And neither do I. And I wouldn't have known that, honestly, except that when I go to restaurants, I'll pick up the stuff on the tables, all the little packages, and read them and stuff, and look at what's the newest sweetener in a different color packet. And then I get to go look those up and see what's going on. So yeah, definitely. If it comes in a packet and it's like, even the little creamers at the table, I'm like, why are these shelf stable? Like, what's in they don't go bad.
Yeah.
So, ask yourself those things. And I don't expect people to just stop cold turkey, but maybe not 25 packets of aspartame in a Starbucks cup. Like, decrease that every other day by one or something. I don't know. Your taste buds will get used to it. And once you stop eating as much sugar too, that's going to make a huge difference. I have a family member who they ate quite a bit. Their whole family ate quite a bit of sugar. And when I would bring dessert, they're like, oh, this isn't sweet enough. And oh, it tastes too this and it's that. And I was like, forget it. I'm not doing this anymore. Because I made a key lime pie from scratch and took the sugar down to half because I was like, this is ridiculous amount of sugar. And I had organic key limes. And everything was homemade, and I thought it was fabulous, but we don't eat a lot of sugar. So I was like, wow, this is perfect combination of sweet and the lime. Yeah, it was amazing. And they just, everybody complained about it. And then I realized later, oh, it's because of all the sugar they eat that their taste buds can't even taste it anymore until it gets to a specific level.
Yeah.
And now that one of them have been diagnosed with diabetes, he's managing it on his own without any medication or anything. He's definitely decreased it, stopped eating sugar. He did go to some of the synthetic sweeteners, which that's obviously his choice. But even ketchup now is so sweet for him, it's disgusting. So it's interesting how you can change your taste buds with just making different choices.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you, Dr. Jen. Thanks, everybody, for listening. If you haven't joined our school community before, I'll put the link in the show notes below. You can also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, or subscribe to our YouTube channel. Till next time, everybody. Bye-bye.
That wraps up another episode of Speaking Holistically. Thank you for listening. We hope today's conversation gave you new insights and inspiration to take charge of your health. If you enjoyed this episode and want to hear more, be sure and join the Speaking Holistically school community by clicking the link in the show notes. There, you'll get access to daily podcast episodes, weekly live Q&As, educational content, and so much more. You can also connect with us on our Facebook page, follow us on Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Until next time, be well, stay curious, and keep speaking holistically.